Hey guys, I'm now finally at the Grand Seiko stand. I'm in the Zen Garden. It's absolutely fantastic, and we're going to meet a few people behind the brand. Let's change perspective and have a look at Grand Seiko. Hi guys, we're at the Grand Seiko stand. We're in the actual Zen Garden, and I have to say we are really getting the boutique experience, I would say, today, guys. Grand Seiko, we covered the show last time around. We got to meet the lovely Robin, and we have the spokesman of Grand Seiko. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Hello, yes, I'm Robert Brooke. I'm the brand manager here in the UK for Grand Seiko. It's a pleasure to have you here and a pleasure to be here amongst all the other brands.
Fantastic, fantastic. How are you finding the show so far?
It's been fantastic. There was the awards ceremony last night, and as I just said to you off screen, I got off slightly earlier, so I'm still pretty fresh today, thankfully.
Brilliant,
Made a
brilliant.
wise decision, but the show's fantastic and it's been exceptionally busy. So it's been fantastic and a real great showcase for us to talk to people like yourselves and get more people interested and get down the rabbit hole of Grand Seiko. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, you guys are representing Japan, isn't it? The best of Japan, I have to say. And here on the DeeTimeLove channel, we are big fans of Seiko and Grand Seiko. So I've got a lot of people on my channel that their entry route into Grand Seiko is probably a Seiko prospect, and then when they've saved enough money, they will pull the trigger and buy themselves a Grand Seiko. So what would you like to showcase for us today? I know there's one watch in particular. Should we just go out to the superstar straight away?
Let's
get straight to the point.
And let's go straight in.
Had our eye on this one.
So here, this is a limited piece of 20 worldwide. It was announced at Watches and Wonders this year. It's called the Kodo. It was created at the Atelier Ginza new watch studio where they are creating mechanical masterpieces. This particular one will kick off by saying actually last night it won an award at the GPHG, the Oscars of the watch world, which we're fantastically pleased and proud to have won such a prestigious award. The watch is a constant force tourbillon. It's a world's first because it's the first constant force tourbillon within the same structure on the same axis, so it increases efficiency of the power going from the constant force to the tourbillon. The name of the watch is Kodo. So Kodo in English means heartbeat, and this obviously relates to the actual watch in terms of this constant force tourbillon bringing it alive, but also the unique, beautiful sound it makes. It's an 8-beat frequency tourbillon, which I think is the only one on the market at the moment.
Yeah.
Along with this remontoire style constant force, which ticks. You can see it jumping around there once
Yeah.
per second in the outer cage.
That's amazing.
And that sound of that once per second ticking with the 8 beat of the tourbillon creates, in musical terms, a semi-quaver. So it makes a real beautiful sound. And the movement designer was originally a professional musician in a previous life. So it was very important for him that we get this kind of not only beautiful aesthetics, it's high-intensity titanium, platinum, and all this craftsmanship. A complicated piece that's done with great craftsmanship, but also to come across in these musical terms, so the enjoyer can really wear it from all senses.
So it's a musician that actually designed the piece, really?
Well, he's obviously an engineer or designer now, but previously he was a professional musician in the past. So that was very important for him to kind of bring that across in the watch. And as you can see there, it's kind of a skeletonized approach there. And it took a very long time for us to develop this particular movement. It's all done in-house. As you say, it's in Japan. So as a company, we kind of been in this archipelago of Japan and isolated. We almost created our own in-house capabilities to make such kind of pieces.
When I see this, it's really like a showcase piece to show the whole watch industry what Grand Seiko can achieve.
Yeah.
This is like, would you say, the benchmark of innovation, design? Even looking at the tourbillon, just that bridge on top there, it looks like may I say, like a spider?
Exactly.
Like a bridge. Even that's been designed slightly different. That I've not seen anything like this in the Swiss world, to be honest with you. It's unique in itself.
For sure, and there's honestly, we could spend 20 minutes just talking about this, and there's so many little design functions within there that are so culturally Japanese that really come through, and you can get into real depth with it. And one thing that I would say is it is a real showcase piece for us, and we haven't done a tourbillon, or especially not a constant force tourbillon in Grand Seiko before. And one of the reasons is because the pillars of Grand Seiko as who we are as a brand, generally it would pull away from that. You know, one being precision, one being legibility. And one thing with especially skeletized tourbillons, for example, you'd lose an element of legibility in terms of being able to read the watch. Well, as you can see here, you've got the time, hour and minute hand at the top there, which have, you know, multifaceted, so it's very legible to read, along with those multifaceted indices, so you can very clearly read the time. And on that constant force tourbillon cage, the constant force that's ticking around, as I said, it ticks once a second. And on there you have a ruby. So that ruby represents the seconds hand. So you can actually see the seconds that are actually ticking around as well. So it's very legible to read. And when you pull the crown out, it has a system that stops that cage from dancing around, shall we say. And then as you push it in, it kicks it back into gear and gets it moving again. So you can set it to the actual seconds as well.
So I'm right to say that's probably the first tourbillon that you can actually register the second on it, because it's actually got a line that shows where the second is.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, it actually marks where the second.
Yeah. So you can read the actual seconds on the timepiece, and as I said, that is a big element of legibility for us. Like, it'd be no good bringing out a watch that's a tourbillon in Grand Seiko that's where you're unable to read the time.
Yeah.
A pillar is legibility, another pillar is precision.
Yeah.
And that's why we even won this chronometry award at Geneva last night, was because this watch releases that constant force, which allows the unwinding and the mainspring and the power to the tourbillon to be very consistent. So it is the most consistent, accurate Grand Seiko we've ever made.
Amazing.
So is this chronometer rated tourbillon?
No, it's been recognised.
Grand Seiko rated.
Yeah.
Grand Seiko rated.
Yeah.
Grand Seiko mechanical
Nothing
watches
can
have
match
their
it.
own testing and certificate criteria that we do ourselves in-house. Yeah, it's really great, and we're very proud to be recognised at GPHG, which is Oscar of the watch world, as
How many
fantastic watch.
of these watches have been made?
There's 20 worldwide.
20 worldwide, so
Yeah.
we've got a bit of an exclusive here
Yes,
on the
massively,
channel.
massively.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest, this is the first time we've showcased it in the UK, so today's
Amazing.
the first time, so you guys got a real exclusive, and it's in very high demand, so you might never see this again, so you've got a real exclusive.
I think
here.
the last one was the Mishaka Pond, wasn't it? That was exclusive with the like sort of green pearl dial.
Yeah, that's the one with the pearl, green.
So are we right to say this is most probably the most accurate tourbillon that's come out? Most probably is, from what you're
It probably
telling me.
is, yeah.
Yeah, I would leave that to you.
Arguably, yeah.
I believe so,
Yeah.
because tourbillons have a tendency of not being that accurate, but from what you're telling me, this sounds like it's...
This is actually the first time. This is the first Japanese tourbillon. Would you say?
We have done tourbillon in the past in the Credo
Is it
range.
Credo? Yeah, Credo,
So
yeah.
there's one called Fugaku, and that was more of a jewellery piece, which was expressing kind of more of an artisan approach, and it was featured upon the Great Wave of Osaka, I think it is.
Yeah.
The tourbillon at the time was the world's smallest tourbillon by volume. They made 8 pieces of it, I believe.
Now,
And it was based at the bottom of the wave and almost made it appear like the wave was coming to life on the watch. It was a real artisan piece, whereas this is a piece that does focus on elements like precision and legibility, and along with beauty and.
Now, one thing, with Grand Seiko, a lot of them are extremely good value for money for what you get, but this is really a premium luxury piece. Would you like to tell us the RRP of this piece, please?
Yeah, so this one is £310,000.
Wow. So, at Liverpool, where you live in Liverpool, Alex, this is your house. Sitting in a cabinet, mate.
It is actually. Can I just ask, what's the strap made of? Do you know what material that is?
Yeah, so the strap is a special material where it's kind of hand lacquered, and it's kind of crinkled, you can see there, and then hand lacquered, which is an ancient technique used for samurai armor to toughen it.
Wow.
So it's again got that kind of heritage of Japaneseness, and as I said, that's a niche thing about our brand, really.
So it's like a samurai glove. You can imagine. Fantastic. And does it come with an alligator strap as well, I was told? Or?
Yeah, it comes with 2 straps, yeah. So
Fantastic.
alternative straps.
So what's the actual watch made of?
The watch, it's made of mainly, obviously the components within there has a number of different elements, but the actual case itself, the outer side is high intensity titanium, and then on the inside from that there's platinum. So it's a mixture of kind of high-tech material, which is an exclusive alloy of Seiko's, along with platinum, which is kind of a more precious metal. So it's a really nice mix between the two, kind of high-tech and precious metals, which is a really beautiful aspect as well.
And what's the case diameter?
Oh, you're testing me now. I believe it's 43.8 mil.
Okay, I was about to say it's a 42. It looks like to me, maybe a 42.
I might be a mil or two off there.
And the case thickness, it looks quite thin.
Yeah, well,
So like 11, 12 millimeters.
The key thing with this is we actually released the Constant Force tourbillon in 2020, which was called the T0.
Oh, I've actually got the behind of the watch.
It's not very thick, is it? It's not massively thick.
And from that Constant Force tourbillon released in 2020, which was just the movement itself, like a prototype, the whole watch and all the components have been re-examined, redesigned to make it a slimmer caliber and make it a smaller caliber to be housed in a watch, because obviously we didn't want to make a huge watch for this particular piece.
No, the actual thickness of it is still it's very elegant, isn't it? It's you would never think it was that thin. It's got a nice thickness to it.
Yeah, and when you look at the case as well, that domed glass, along with the way that the kind of lugs curve round and that beautiful kind of Zaratsu finishing on it, it makes it really hook the wrist, and like it doesn't feel like a particularly large watch on the wrist.
Fantastic. So what else would you like to showcase to us, sir? What really, when you walk into the showroom, and you guys are based in Maidenhead, is that correct, yeah? The head office?
Our service centre and head office is in Maidenhead.
At Knightsbridge, and you're going to Bond Street tomorrow.
Yeah,
I understand you're opening up, fantastic. So when you walk into the Bond Street showroom, what puts the biggest smile on your face, sir?
Well, at the moment...
Oh, that one, yeah. Well, there you go. Well, it's the newbie in town, isn't it?
Yeah,
you're still in the honeymoon period.
But to move on to these ones to the right here, so talking about DKG, this year this diver was also nominated, along with the one that's alongside it. The Mist Flake was also nominated for awards last night. These are very beautiful watches. So Grand Seiko's philosophy behind the brand is a nature of time. So that obviously ties into the passage of time and how we display time, and you can see these beautiful movements. That was a tourbillon Constant Force mechanical piece. This here is a spring drive, so it is completely smooth gliding seconds hand.
Yep.
It's exclusive type of movement to the brand. It tells time as time itself intended. It doesn't stop, it doesn't vibrate. It's really beautiful. But then we also have quartz models. So it's about expressing the passage of time, but also a nature in time in terms of that romantic aspect that the Japanese have with time, and the way they watch the seasons go by and take snapshots in time and really appreciate the passage of time. So this here represents the Ushio, which is translates as black tide, and this is a current that goes past the archipelago of Japan. And you can see a kind of rich, dark, black tide appeal of that dial, which is really beautiful.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it's got the ceramic bezel. The watch is in high intensity titanium.
So what's the depth rate? It's 200 meters, yeah.
Yes,
Water resistance,
yeah. And the caliber that goes in this, as I said, is a spring drive, but it's updated from previous spring drives. So in 2020 we brought out the 9RA5, which this caliber is, and that has improved in a number of ways that you wouldn't even believe, because it's more accurate at 0.5 seconds a day because it's now thermally compensated. It has a higher power reserve, so now it's got a 5-day power reserve rather than a 3-day. It's got a more robust movement because it's got a one central piece bridge, and it's also a slimmer caliber, which would seem impossible to make it have a higher power reserve, more accurate, more robust, but slimmer. So it's a fantastic piece.
So arguably one of the most accurate movements on the market, isn't it, to be fair?
Spring driven, yes.
Yeah, you can't really get anything. So was it 4 hertz?
No, well, it doesn't have hertz because it's basically a completely new design of movement.
Right, okay.
So the original concept was you had these beautiful mechanical watches, then you had quartz, which are highly accurate and robust, and spring drive is kind of a combination to the two. It doesn't use the kind of jumping of a quartz in terms of using a battery or anything. Mm-hmm. It uses springs and gears to power it like a mechanical, but it's regulated.
So it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
So this question really threw Robin last time. He didn't want to go there with the. Are you willing to discuss how this movement works? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Well, when are you guys going to get an exclusive? The first man to explain actually how this movement works.
I'm trying to
sweating now.
I'm trying to think how to do it in a most user-friendly
Look, we can always
manner.
come back to it later.
Rather you than me.
Yeah, well, I think it was Einstein that said, didn't he? He said, if you can't explain something to a 5-year-old, then you don't understand it well enough. I thought, well, he doesn't know spring drive.
You're digging a hole now.
Yeah. So basically, spring drive, as I said, was a concept by some gent who was an engineer at Seiko called Mr. Akahane. He saw this romance of these beautiful mechanical watches that were powered by your wrist. People loved the mechanics of it. and then these quartz, which were highly robust, powered by a battery, very accurate. And he wanted to combine these to have a very robust, accurate, mechanical-driven watch. So Spring Drive does exactly that. You have a mainspring that powers the watch. You then have the gear of chains exactly like a mechanical watch, which powers the hands, everything else, and that is where the power comes from, hence the name Spring Drive and Spring Driven. From there, rather than the traditional Swiss escapement, which obviously kind of jumps back and forth and releases the mainspring one kind of vibration at a time, Spring Drive has, in the last gear in the chain, has one glide wheel, we call it. And this glide wheel spins 8 times a second, very fast, and it has a very small magnet on it. Next to that has 2 sets of very tightly coiled wire. You can fact check me, I may be wrong, and those coiled wires are coiled like 25,000 times, very tightly. This spinning magnet next to the coiled wire creates an electric current, a very small electric current. I believe there was a stat that if everyone in the world wore a Grand Seiko Spring Drive, it would only be enough power to power a single light bulb. That's kind of the small, very small electric power that comes from that. So these electrons that are vibrating this wire now go through to an IC and a quartz crystal. So as we know from quartz models, they vibrate at a very precise frequency, and that's how you get such good accuracy, because it's so reliable in their vibration. So now we have this spinning of a glide wheel, which is spinning very fast from a mechanical power, and you've got this vibration of this quartz. And this clever IC then compares the wave frequency of the quartz against the spinning of this gear.
Okay.
And then this will apply a magnetic brake to the glide wheel to get it to be more accurate like a quartz model. So it'll match them up and put a magnetic brake to slow the unwinding down. And that's why on a Spring Drive, the second hand, it doesn't vibrate, because it's not got that Swiss escapement style ticking in and out, releasing it one vibration at a time. It doesn't jump like a quartz because it's not a shot of power every second. It's a magnetic brake on a constantly moving glide wheel, hence why it doesn't have a hertz or a vibration rate. It's constantly going, and that's why it's completely smooth and tells actual elapsed time rather than to the nearest fraction of a second.
Fantastic. Well, you've actually got Alex. Alex is speechless, and believe me, he never stops talking. And he's a WatchPro certified watchmaker, has been educated now in the world of Spring Drive.
Wow,
now,
that was impressive.
That's very impressive. So Alex just got, he's now Grand Seiko accredited.
Yeah, I can work on them. I can work on them now.
Will he pass the practical? That's another story. So we've got here another Grand Seiko, guys.
Yes,
Very beautiful watch.
This is a Mist Flake. This was also a nomination for GPHG for Petite Aiguille. And the dial inspiration there, as we said about nature, this is inspired by the morning mist of the Shinshu region of Japan, where Spring Drive watches are created. And this is usually a sign of good weather to come. It's part of the Evolution 9 collection. Evolution 9 is basically 9 principles on how the case and the watch is designed. Originally it was called the Grand Seiko style, which similarly used 9 principles, but the Evolution 9 has taken that and moved it to the modern world.
It's a GMT as well, isn't it, this one?
Yeah.
I can see,
Yeah. To have new 9 principles of design. It is, as you said, a GMT function, so you get a second time zone on there. And again, you can see on this one that gliding.
Yes,
this
yes.
is also
It's
a
a beautiful glide, isn't it?
Oh, it's
really,
so smooth.
really
There's
nice.
nothing more
Hypnotic.
smoother than this.
No, there's nothing. Absolutely
Look
nothing.
at it, zoom in.
It's very relaxing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're in the Zen garden, you look at your timepiece, and you fall asleep.
With a coffee.
Oh yeah, look at this.
Well, I've said before in the past.
Effortless is what I would say, yeah.
Effortless,
I always feel I'm chasing time, and these watches, sometimes you can't help but catch yourself getting lost in watching the time, and it kind of makes you more present, which is quite the romance of watchmaking, I guess.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
Yeah. Grand Seiko has always been a difficult one for me because of the mixture between quartz and mechanical, but with the passion that I see that you have and the way you've explained it, and actually seeing these different models, it's really kind of opened up my eyes, because I don't really see many Grand Seikos, and the way you've come across, and
you've achieved something great today, sir, because let me tell you something, probably the biggest objection you'd get, especially from someone who's worked in the industry like Alex, who's a WatchPro certified watchmaker, Swiss trained, he's always going to be like, well, that's not how we do things, yeah? But you guys, you've got to look at it from another point of view. Grand Seiko It's all about innovation.
Yes.
Doing something that is not the norm. You know, they've got their own identity. They don't follow the crowd. They stand on their own in regards to what they do. And I think the only time you really appreciate a Grand Seiko is when you see it in real life.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Reading it on a piece of paper, the specs, you know, if it was just about specs, we'd be looking at, you know, digital watches, for example. But what Grand Seiko are doing now, they're really implementing modern technology for me. They're actually the only ones really, I don't want to sound harsh, but the only ones really pushing the boundaries where people are happy to stay where they are. Yeah. You know, I know Omega doing Metatas certification, and also, but Grand Seiko, like I saw the Turpin just now, I was like, wow. Yeah. Unbelievable.
That's highly impressive. Yeah. That's really impressive.
It's also that endless pursuit, and as I was talking about the pillars earlier, the pillars of Grand Seiko, like precision, like legibility, like beauty, they constantly strive to chase them and make them better and better and better without compromise. And being a family, well, having Shinji Hattori as the chairman of the company and being a linchpin for us is very important, because it's still got history and heritage from 1881 when Kintaro Hattori founded Seiko. And Grand Seiko has been born from this kind of constant pursuit, and it's important that we continue with that and continue with the innovation and that long-term vision that being a family run business in a sense really gives you that, you know, because you've got history and heritage. It's not about 5 years, it's about history and heritage and what way you're driving for the future, and that's really important for us.
And Grand Seiko have been around a hell of a long time, haven't they? Let's be honest, people don't realise, they think that Grand Seiko came after Seiko, but was it King Seiko before and all the Grand Seikos? And
so similarly, King Seiko came around similar time to Grand Seiko. It was that kind of spur time where we were really pushing to try and make the best Seiko watch we could, and that's how the names like King Seiko or Grand Seiko came around. And that's really where we've come from. And there's always, we now, as of 2017, a completely separate brand from Seiko, but being a family-run business and how we came to be is an important part of who we are. So it's a huge part of us as a brand.
So I've got a question.
Yeah.
Is Creedle part Seiko?
Yes.
It is, right, okay.
So where does that stand now in terms of the hierarchy? Because I always thought it was in this order. You have your Seiko, like Seiko 5s, then you've got Seiko Prospects, Presage, which is a step up in terms of the quality, and then you've got Grand Seiko, and then you've got Creedle. That I thought, are they more dress-orientated pieces, would you say, Creedle now? You don't see much in the UK.
No. So, I guess rather than necessarily seeing them as different tiers, because people often do that, but even some Seiko, you know, you get some crossover in terms of price point of Seiko with Grand Seiko even. And similar with Credo, you can pick up some Credo.
I've seen that with the Prospects range. They've got like entry-level high-beat movements now.
And spring drive calibers. So it's you know, there's a level of crossover.
So the Seiko Marine Master, I believe, it's got the
and with that, so I wouldn't necessarily always look at a price point, but I think that's generally where people lean towards. It's more about the brand philosophies and what the brand stands for. So Credo, I think it's in French, means crest of gold. So generally it's precious metal pieces. We do more affordable pieces in Credo, which are quartz models. But generally here in Europe and in the UK, we only really see the real high-end Credos, you know, like the H2s with the porcelain dial, the minute repeater, the sonnerie. As I said, we've done a tourbillon before in Credo, but people don't, it's only people who have fantastic watch knowledge generally who know about Credo, and that is within the Seiko Corporation. But that just goes to show a lot of people think of Seiko as traditionally affordable mechanical quartz watches, but we have the capability and have even done minute repeaters, sonneries, tourbillons in the past, so it's fantastic. So
this is the Birch, isn't it? We all know this award-winning one.
Yeah. So I guess I'll probably have to close you on this one, guys. But this one here, I guess, ties in very nicely to what you were just talking about in terms of movements and you know, about spring drive and quartz. But this here is a high beat caliber, mechanical, automatic. So it's going at a vibration rate of 36,000 vibration per hour or 10 beats per second, which is ultimately how fast that second hand is moving every second. So it's moving 10 times a second.
Like an El Primero.
Yes. So high beat. And with this, it's got a brand new style of escapement. So it's called the dual impulse escapement. It's also got an overcoil, which took over 80,000 simulations to get the perfect curvature. It's a high beat with an 80-hour power reserve, which is an incredible power reserve on a high beat caliber, because a high beat caliber uses more torque, more power than a lower beat caliber. So it's a fantastic movement. It's also, again, a slimmer caliber than the previous generation of high beats. So it's a really great enhancement, and from a mechanical perspective, which is where most of the luxury watch industry sits, and where a lot of watchmakers or watch enthusiasts like yourself know a lot about mechanical watches, this is a mechanical timepiece is just phenomenal, and hence the reason why that won actually the men's category for GPHG last year. So
it's won, didn't it? Yeah, it's won.
It's fantastic. And that dial there, you can see it's almost like those ridges. It's called the white birch because it's inspired by the birch forest near Shizukuishi, where we create these high beat calibers. So it's really stunning.
It's a really beautiful piece, isn't it? Yeah.
And as you said, I mean, and this is why you guys doing things like this is fantastic as well, because you go on a website, you see the specs, you see a still photo, it just doesn't do it justice. So be able to see some videography, hear a backstory, or come in and seeing it in the metal yourself is a must-do.
I think you need to try this on and actually see it yourself, don't you?
I've tried this one on and it's fantastic. Yeah. Is it titanium? Is it this one?
This one's steel, but the other ones that we looked at were in high intensity titanium.
Fantastic. What have we got here? We'll just have a little look around. So this model here, beautiful as well.
Yeah. So this one's a spring drive chronograph GMT. Being a spring drive, it's technically the most accurate spring-driven chronograph you can get because of the reasons we explained earlier, how it tells actual lapse time and how it's so highly accurate.
Beautiful. And we can see you've got some other ones here. Look at this.
So I'm sure you'll recognise this. This is the iconic snowflake. We can't do a show without it.
Yeah. The icon, isn't it, this one?
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't really do it justice, my camera. The lighting's a little bit different on this one. Beautiful watch.
So here we have Snowscape, which is inspired by the ice from Mount Iwate as it melts.
It's beautiful.
It's really stunning. And the case design you can see there is based on 44GS, which is a really famous style of watch from 1967 that really inspired the rest of the Grand Seiko styles going forward. You see those kind of flat lugs with that beautiful Zaratsu finishing, and that. The idea with Zaratsu finishing is to get a distortion-free mirrored finish. It's not just having a beautiful shiny surface, it's a distortion-free mirrored finish. So if you put some text against it, it should reflect perfectly back and you can read directly off it. It's really great. Another high beat caliber there. This is Omiwatari. It's a manual winding spring drive caliber. Beautiful kind of dress style watch. The dial here is called Omiwatari, which in Japanese translates as God's footsteps. It's inspired by Lake Suwa in winter, so as Lake Suwa freezes, it creates these kind of ridges on the ice. And back previously in Japan, people used to go to Lake Suwa to look at the ridges and kind of predict future fortunes from this. So it's kind of a real Sarabetri style of dial, so nicknamed Omiwatari, and a manual winding spring drive caliber.
Beautiful.
Very good. Here is called the Hataka Peaks. This is inspired by the mountainous region of Hataka Peaks itself. What's really interesting with this is it's obviously a sports model, it's a GMT, similar to the Mistflake, but on this GMT it's a 3 time zone GMT, so you can look at 3 time zones at once. The bezel you'll see there, it has this bright appeal to it. It's not like the metal bezel you've seen before, or even the ceramic bezel you saw on the Diver. This is a sapphire bezel on this.
Sapphire insert,
So it looks really beautiful.
Beautiful, I love that. That's very cool. Beautiful. And then the best to last, the little one.
The last one here, this is a 34mm kind of mid-size quartz piece, so it's the first quartz piece we've seen. As we said, Grand Seiko don't just do mechanical, we don't just do spring drive, which is exclusive, but we also do quartz as well, which I think is fantastic as a brand to kind of cater to all those different areas and really try to pursue and grow our expertise in all those areas. What I love about this is it's a real kind of timeless classic piece that anyone could wear, and this is kind of the quartz models understandably are more the entry price point, so I believe this comes in at 3,200. The most affordable quartz we have in Grand Seiko is £2,000, but as you can see we go right through on this stand to £310,000, so it's really great to see that.
Well, let's be honest, you guys did cause the quartz crisis, so it'd be a shame you not to say that, you'd have to produce the best quartz there is out there, to be fair.
We called it the quartz revolution, but yeah.
Well, look, like Robin said, it would be nice if everyone was wearing a Grand Seiko. So the way things are going, you definitely made your mark, and I have to say you've probably got the most expensive piece here at the show, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm surprised you haven't got a security. I guess that's why they've got you representing, looking after this piece in particular. You know, Alex looks a bit small today, doesn't he? Look.
Tiny.
Yeah, well, he has been out of the gym for 4 weeks. Just give you sorry, I have to make an excuse for you there, Alex. But once again, guys, I'd like to say thank you for giving us an insight behind the brand.
Appreciate it.
You've done a fantastic job, and tomorrow I'll be here more in regards to no cameras in your face tomorrow, so I'll be here for leisure purposes only.
Thank you
but
for your
fantastic
time.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for a great insight behind Grand Seiko. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, so far I've really been enjoying the show. It's been fantastic. It's been a real boutique experience, I have to say. We've spoken to Shapek, Grand Seiko, Squally, just to name a few, Cyrus, and now we're going to check out Laurent Ferrier, another independent luxury watch brand. And I have to say their pieces are exquisite, and I'm going to really enjoy going in depth in detail in regards to the timepieces, guys. Alex, how are you finding the show, sir?
Oh, fantastic.
Get into the screen
Really
again.
enjoying it. I'm getting the camera now.
Fantastic.
Now it's one of my favourites that we're going to see is the Laurent Ferrier.
Yeah, Laurent Ferrier, they are beautiful
Stunning,
pieces, aren't
stunning.
they?
True watchmaking. And,
I think we're getting hypnotised a little bit by the quality of the movements that we're seeing today.
our eyes are everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
We're seeing everything.
Shapek was unbelievable, wasn't it? I have to say.
It's tremendous. Like we said before, it's a certain watch that you have to physically wear and enjoy. It's very personal, very personal pieces.
It's I'll be honest with you. Now that I've seen more of their pieces, especially Shapek, it's opened my eyes, and I could see myself parting some of my hard-earned cash if I was able to buy one.
All the cash that you put away, do you?
Yeah, all the cash I put away, you know.
Yeah.
Getting these guys on board, you know.
Yeah.
Earn me a few bucks in the industry for sure, you know. But
the other thing is as well, the fact that I've been to see Grand Seiko isn't a brand that I would usually ever consider.
You got to be impressed how Alex
definitely,
opinion has changed on Grand Seiko now.
Yeah, I mean the way the gentleman explained it to us, how it works as well, the spring drive was impressive.
Yeah.
I found that impressive.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest, like that tourbillon that we saw, exclusive in the UK.
Unbelievable.
Was it only 20 of them available? Hey guys, we're here at Laurent Ferrier, a very exciting brand that I got to witness last year at the WatchPro Salon live event, and we have one of the guys behind the brand. Introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Robert Bailey. I'm the head of sales here at Laurent Ferrier, and we're very happy to be here at WatchPro.
Fantastic. And obviously you guys are very highly spoke about on the DeeTimeLove channel, A to Z of watches, the Watch Addiction Facebook group. We're seeing a lot of people purchasing your watches now, and they're becoming a lot more popular. And I have to say, do you want to showcase some of your watches, what you've got on display here today?
Let's show you. Start here with the Sport Auto. So this is a watch that we released in February of this year. So this is our first sports watch with an integrated metal bracelet. So this one here is made of grade 5 titanium. We've got a circular satin finishing here on the bezel, mirror polish around the side, and then vertical satin finishing here on the base of the case and on the bracelet. Also, in between the links, they are polished.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So it's not just like one homogeneous color. You have a bit of excitement in between the links. With a gradient blue dial. Also something that's slightly abnormal is you have this elongated date window that you have there. And the reason for that elongated date window is so that you have balance with the 9 o'clock index that is opposite from it.
Okay.
So
beautiful.
So it seems like a small detail, but it's basically to have this made with the sloping date window like that is something that took a design. And the other advantage is that it doesn't get shadow on the date itself.
Beautiful.
Screw down crown. So this watch has a water resistance of 120 meters.
Look at the movement, Alex. Look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it?
120 meters.
Yeah, 120 meters water
That's
resistance.
stunning.
And this is our new 270 caliber. So it's an automatic movement with a micro rotor, a platinum micro rotor that you have.
Oh yeah.
It's a celebration of Mr. Ferrier and his teammate François Salvana, their third place in the 1979 Grand Prix. And on the mass, you have the inscriptions in miniature of all the statistics of the race. So their best lap time, the car number, and things like that. This is a Swiss anchor movement that we have in this, once again to make it more solid in comparison to our natural escapement micro rotors that we have in our classic and our square cases. And then, as we do in all of our sports watches, we have a horizontal satin finishing here to go along the length of the bridges with a ruthenium coating to give it this kind of anthracite look.
So Alex, as a watchmaker yourself, what's your verdict in regards to this movement?
This movement is just absolutely impeccable. I mean, I love how small the balance is. It's a very, very small balance compared to the rest of the movement.
Yeah.
And the actual rotor, you said, is platinum.
Yep. It is which is more of a technical thing than anything else. Is we needed the extra
weight.
mass
Yes.
to provide it.
Very sleek as well, the movement. Very, very sleek.
But look at the finishing. Look, and what's the RRP on this?
In Swiss francs, it's 46,000 Swiss francs excluding VAT. So,
and how easily available is it to buy? What would my guys need to do if they were interested in purchasing a piece like this?
Well, basically, us as a brand, we are sold out until 2025.
2025. Wow.
2025.
Wow. Like I said, I remember you talking about you guys a few years back, and your popularity is beyond now. The demand is huge, and credit to yourselves.
We're very humbled and very thankful. And it's been in the last year. It's completely changed. The business totally changed for us. And all of the finishing is done by hand. So you see all of the perlage that you have here underneath the micro rotor. That's all done by hand. So it's somebody.
Just zoom in there.
That's all hand finished. Hand decorated.
Look at the quality, guys, of this piece.
And we do that really to get the best level quality, because machines do a great job as well, but machines don't have eyes and they can't see little imperfections in their work, and that's why we do it all by hand. So as is the case with most high-end watches, everything is also decorated underneath the dials, even if you can't see it.
Yeah.
So if you were to take the dial off, everything has got a perlage finishing on it.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful, fantastic, really nice. And there's one that really does get spoken about, is the one that you've got advertised here, guys. We see this in the Watch Addiction group quite a lot. Have you got this on show today? There we go. There it is.
Can I try this on?
You can, of course, yeah. So this is our Grand Sport Tourbillon. So it's a 44mm case, and this one has our double spiral tourbillon mechanism on the back.
Oh wow, that is beautiful. Let's just get it at this angle. Look at that, guys. This is absolutely stunning. This is what you call wristwatch porn. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Very sophisticated, the way it's been done, that tourbillon. Just when you're memorized by the actual dial of the watch, you turn this over and you get to see something outstanding.
So it's a hidden tourbillon.
So basically, there's Laurent and his son Christian. Their belief is that basically a watch is composed of two elements. So you have the aesthetic element and you have the mechanical element. The dial is the aesthetic part, and so they both very clean, uncluttered dials, very pure dials like you can see here. And then basically they want to keep the mechanic element completely separate, and so they don't want to mix the two. And by having a tourbillon visible from the front, you would mix the aesthetic element with the mechanical.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Because the tourbillon is hidden, would you say it's the reliability on the service is better because the oils are not being hit by
UV rays? I think that with modern chemistry and modern kind of material science technologies, that is less of an issue. So I think even tourbillons that are visible from the front and they're exposed to UV lights, the new oils are so well developed. Yeah. I don't think it really makes much difference. It definitely was the case back in the day, and that's why Patrick Philippe did it.
That's why I was going to ask you. That's where I got it from, because I always thought, that's interesting. I thought I'd ask you, but that's where I got it from. Yeah.
No,
can I try it on?
You may do, yeah, of course.
And this is what material?
Gold.
Gold.
Yeah.
18 karat rose gold.
Yeah, exactly.
This one.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what sort of retail price of this one?
That one is 225,000.
Fantastic.
It's actually lighter than I thought, but it's a good weight. I'm not criticising that it's too light, but it's by no means.
We don't hear that often. It's 310 grams usually.
Yeah, but it feels good, but it doesn't feel too heavy, doesn't feel too light. It feels just right.
So if you want to see, I think this is the classic.
Oh wow!
tourbillon.
Look at that.
So it's the same movement as in the gold one. The finishing is different. So here we have the Côte de Genève, more classical finishing.
Yes.
But the mechanics are the same. So it's
the traditional Swiss finish in here, isn't it?
Yeah. And here you see you have a long blade ratchet, just this nice effect when you wind up.
Oh wow, look at that. Well, it's a very elegant, sophisticated piece, isn't it? It's got a hell of a lot of party tricks here. It's a real conversational piece. Look at the way it plays a lot. I mean, these are the sort of watches that you spend more time looking at the case back than you do the front of the watch. It's
especially on this one, you have really an example of the finishing, the internal angles on the tourbillon bridge, the block polishing as well.
And how many of these have been made?
Of the Grand Sport tourbillon, there's a limited edition of 24.
24, right? Okay, it's going to be hard to get then, yeah.
And they're unfortunately sold out by us, so our retail partners have them. And then these ones are collection pieces. And we make, in total, in the tourbillons, we make about 30 a year.
So those of us in the UK, how would we register our interest in regards to your timepieces?
So basically, we work with Pragnos on Mount Street and in Stratford. And also we are partners with the limited edition.
Fantastic, okay. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And when you walk into your showroom, what puts on the biggest smile on your face, sir?
Well, we don't have a showroom.
All right, so, when you go into your stock room.
Well, basically, I get a big smile.
What's your favourite then? What's your favourite?
Our stock room is empty right now, so that's a sales guy. That's good. Makes me smile.
High class problem.
But I think, I think the pieces that really, do everything for me. I think, the Origins, which I think are really beautiful.
Let's have a look at these.
31,000 with the galley pebble-shaped case. So this is really meant to resemble a stone that's been rounded by the river. The natural escapement is a really beautiful technology. So there's only 150 of those kind of escapements made in the whole industry in a year, and we make 110 of those 150. So very humbly. We really believe that we are the masters of the natural escapement, and it's something that watchmakers don't learn in school. So we have to teach our watchmakers how to work on those movements.
Oh, really?
So that's,
now, in regards to the guy behind the brand, what's his background? I heard that he was is it Patek? Or so he used to work for Patek Philippe, and he's gone his own way now. And because you do get the sense of a bit of Patek influence here, but you see the sense of quality, the movement, everything. It's like you're looking at a Holy Trinity piece. And that is a major compliment, guys, I have to say.
Well, Mr. Ferrier will be the first to say it. He says that everything he knows, he learned at Patek, So
you've been taught by the best, and it shows, isn't it? It's.
Can I ask you a question? How much is this model?
It's 225,000 Swiss francs.
Can I hold it from there?
Yeah.
As per Laurent's philosophy, there's no compromise. So the gold hasn't been hollowed out. It's all solid gold.
It's all solid.
It feels solid to me, Alex. I don't know what. See, Alex seems to be wearing watches that are very big, probably 50 case diameters, solid gold, made by Alex in his workshop.
Weight.
It's a perfect weight.
Very nice weight.
310 grams.
310 grams,
which is a lot.
Of solid 18 karat rose gold. Yeah.
Exactly. 5 rose gold.
I think it would look good on my Stefano Ricci belt, which is a top brand with what Laurent Ferrier would really complement my fashion sense, I would say. But these are beautifully done, and you get this simplicity of you get with Patek a little bit, but you turn it over. I think they've gone even that extra mile.
Definitely.
With the tourbillon and wow.
Just very personal pieces once again. You have to really try these watches on to really appreciate
They're real
them.
watch aficionados.
Yeah, 100%.
These are real collectors that want something a bit more exclusive, not just following the crowd. This is someone that would have a Patek in their collection. This would sit perfect side by side. They'll complement each other.
As Mr. Ferrier often says, we're not trying to do anything crazy. We're not trying to invent anything new. We're just trying to make simple, elegant watches and make them well.
Thinking out the box, basically. Yeah. Definitely doing that well.
So what's your vision for the brand now? Where do you see yourselves? And let's say you've really progressed in a matter of years. What's coming in the next few years for yourselves?
So basically, our innovation pipeline is pretty full. So we have new releases coming in 24, 25, and 26. So basically, to flesh out our offering, so to offer. offer our customers a full range of options from the brand. And then in terms of production, we've increased a little bit, but our idea is to stay pretty niche, to stay pretty small, and keep the level of quality and finishing at the level it is today.
Fantastic. Well, I want to say thank you, sir, for giving us an insight into the brand. I have to say that Laurent Ferrier are one of the brands that are one of the biggest stars here at WatchPro Salon Live, I have to say. And I think I've seen on the Facebook groups that we run, and I run a lot of Facebook groups, and I'm seeing a lot more Laurent Ferriers popping up in the group. And these guys are people with very, very high-end collections. And your watches sit amongst the likes of APs, Vacheron, you know, Pateks, and that speaks volumes to have your brand, you know, because you've come a long, long way, but nothing you can dispute is the quality, the design, the aesthetic, the thought process behind it. You're doing a lot of good things, sir. So I want to congratulate yourself and the brand for all your hard work, and we look to see you guys in the future. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you for showing us.